Hey, welcome back. Today we are diving into the Apple Watch Series 8 design using Apple's official accessory guidelines, page 429. Check the link below for all the details. Before we start, grab our free 3D CAD exercise book in the description to boost your SolidWorks skills. Ready for a 3D modeling adventure? Let's roll. Okay, first we are going to open a new part. On the top plane, we are going to draw the outlines. Here, give it 45.08. Here, give it 38.22. And we're going to extrude it on the mid-plane. And we'll make the extrusion width 10.7. Okay. Now we're going to trim the corners. I'm going to make an spline from these two corners, and I'll give it a dimension from this edge to here, 15.26, and from this edge to this point, let's see, 15.46, and I'm going to move those handles. I'm going to make this one vertical and this one horizontal. Okay, let's do a style spline instead. It's easier to give it some dimensions. I'll go to a style spline, put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Actually, let's do 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now this one horizontal, this one horizontal, this one vertical, this one vertical, and I'm going to give it dimensions from this point to this edge. 15.46 from this point to this edge, 15.26. Okay, now let's give the dimension from here to here, 7.5, from here to here, 4.5, from here to here, 6.5, here to here, 4.5, and let's delete this point. Okay, yeah, now let's do some center lines, one on the vertical and another on the horizontal, and let's mirror this edge about the vertical ones and then mirror it once more along the horizontal. Now let's convert entity, this whole face, and trim entity and remove the extra parts here. Now we have the 4 corners. Okay, now let's cut extrude through all both. Through all both. What's wrong? Is there anything missing? Maybe something is wrong. First, I need to make this extrusion along the midplane. Now let's try again. Roll both. Okay. Yep, here we go. Now let's cut the side profile by drawing a sketch on the right plane. And this time I'm going to make an just an spline, not a styled one. Let's make this handle horizontal, this handle horizontal, yep, and this handle vertical. I gotta move it first before I have the relation visible. I'm gonna put a dimension here to here, 5.3. Dimension from here to here, 6.44. A dimension from here to here, 6.91. And let's give this handle magnitude of 16. This handle 14.5. And this one 14. And I'm going to convert this line, and this line, and trim the extras. And also I want to make a vertical line like this, and I'm going to extend this line and trim them like that, and make this line construction geometry because I need it to be extra. I don't have to end with a knife edge here. Okay, this is will be used as a swept profile, so it cannot have a knife edge. Okay, now go to the top plane and create a sketch and use the intersection curve. I want to have the intersection for this whole geometry, so I'm going to right click here and select tangency. It will select all the boundary and select OK. Now we have the edge profile for the swept cut. I'm going to exit the sketch. Now go to the swept cut and use this one as a profile and this one as the edge. Okay, now we have our side cut. This is, I don't want these faces to be split in two, so I'm going to go to Fit Surfaces, delete face, and go to delete and patch. Select one of these, hit OK. It will transform it into one face, just like this one. Okay, now it's more symmetrical. Now that we have the side profile, let's create the bottom part for the charging and the sensors. Again, on the right plane, I'm going to draw a sketch. Let's start by drawing the center line. And now I'm going to draw a line like this, and a line like that, and an arc from here to here. And let's draw another line here from this point. Make it a construction geometry and make it tangent to this arc, so when we rotate it will have a continuity. And now let's go to this face and go to intersection curve and trim this edge and this edge and this edge and this edge. Oh, sorry, not this one. Okay, now we have a closed profile. Now let's give it some dimensions from the top edge up to this bottom edge. It's 13.14. Okay, let's restore some of our dimensions like this. Okay, now we want this radius to be 13.3, and of course this line and this origin point should be coincident. And I'd like to drag this line up a little bit because I'm going to have a slight interference, so I'm going to draw a horizontal line and extend these two lines and then trim the rest and make this one construction geometry and give this dimension maybe 0.5 millimeter excess, so that I will have a nice merge with the original body. Okay, and then let's restore these. All right, now let's give this angle from here to here 135, and from this point up to the top face it's 11.54. Oops. Okay, and from here to this point it's 0.3 millimeters. Okay, now we are going to revolve boss and choosing this axis for revolution and make sure merge result is checked. See, now I created the 0.5 millimeter interference so that it will go inside this revolve, otherwise I would have a gap over there. Okay, Now for the next part, let's create the cut for the bands, the rubber bands. Again, I'm going to draw on the right plane, and now I'm going to draw a horizontal line like this and make it construction geometry, and another line from here to here and give it 31 degrees. This will be our center line, and from this point up to the origin point it will be 17.8. Again, this one is also a construction geometry. Okay, now we need to draw a line like this and an arc like that, and then I'm going to draw a construction geometry perpendicular to this line, and then this one and this one would be tangent, and then this radius would be 1.7, and this angle from here to here 5.5. All right, that's good. Now let me draw another construction line from here perpendicular on that edge, and then give a dimension from here to this point 1.7. Okay, and let's draw a finish line here perpendicular to this line. This one went wrong. Yeah. Okay, and I need this to be mirrored. Select all these three and mirror them across the center line. And now I need this edge to be 2.3 millimeters. Now we have our fully defined sketch. I'm going to cut extrude through all both, and then choose. We only have one body, so we don't need to choose anything. Just cut it, and go to the front plane to mirror this cut. Choose the feature and cut. Okay, now we have symmetrical on both sides. Now let's create the crown for the watch. I'd like to have an offset so as to use it as a starting face. So I'm going from the right plane and choose a reference geometry, choosing an offset of 20.5 millimeters. Okay, that's good. Now let's draw a circle here, 7.5 on this face, and then give it a dimension from here to here, 5.03, and from here to here, 8.63. Okay, that sounds good. And now let's create an extruded cut. Oh no, extruded boss for the crown on the other direction, 2.75 millimeters, and we will uncheck the merge result like this. And this plane, it needs to be 20.75. Let's adjust that, sorry. Okay. Now again, let's do the cut from this plane, the cut for the crown. I'm going to show this edge because I want to use the same center. Now let's use an ellipse from the same center like this. I'll make these two horizontal, and I want to give it a dimension from here to here, 8.5, and on the vertical let's give it 6.5. And now I need to cut it deep inside by applying 3 millimeters, and select this body for the cutting. Okay. Okay, now I need to give this crown a fillet of 1 millimeter. Let's choose this because I want to choose both sides. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, now finally we are going to draw the shaft for the crown. So I'll give it a 4 millimeter radius, and I'll extrude it up to surface and choose this behind surface for it, and make it merge to this part only. Okay. Now we don't need this face anymore. Let's hide it, and let's hide this sketch. Okay, it looks good. Before we forget, so let's give this one a fillet of 1 millimeter or 25 quarter of a millimeter. Okay, looks good. And now let's create the ridges or the knurls for the crown. I'll do that by making a sketch on the front plane, just a sketch like this. And let's bring back this sketch, and I want this point to be coincident with this line. I want it to be strictly in the center. I just need the line to extend past the crown, so I'll close the sketch and go to curves and split line, and choosing those 3 faces for a split line, hit OK. Now it's creating a nice split for me, which I'm going to use as an edge for a swept cut. I'm going to choose a circular profile instead of making a face and then draw a curve around it and stuff. I just need a circular profile of 1/4 millimeter diameter, and for the edge I'm gonna go to the selection manager and choose this edge, and then hitting the tangent button so it revolves around the whole thing, hit OK. Now you see that the swept profile is already a circular profile of 1/4 millimeter. I don't need to create a separate sketch for that. And the path is the path that I created with a split line. And for the feature scope, I'm going to select only the crown and hit OK. Now it created one single cut for the knurl. Now I'm going to go to circular pattern and choose the direction as this circular face. And for the feature, I'm going to choose this feature and give it, let's say, yeah, 45 maybe. 45 sounds like a good number. And hit OK. Now we have our knurling pattern. Oh, I think it might be too much. Let's go back. This face, direction 1. Let's make it 40. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. But why did it skip this one? It's weird. Maybe it's a bug or something. Let's suggest a swept line, single direction, reverse direction. Okay. Now we don't have a cut in the middle, so the circular pattern needs to go correctly. Okay, here we go. Now let's hide the sketch. And now let's go to the next part, which is creating the microphone hole and the other button over there. Let's do that by making a sketch on the right plane and just creating the circle and the slot like this. Okay, now let's give it some dimensions from here to here. 1.47. These are the dimensions that I got from the Apple design guidelines. I already put the link in the description. You can check it out. But I don't want to go in depth because this accessory guideline has lots of information there, and I already had the time to dig deeper into everything, because I don't want the length of this video to go for hours. You might get bored, but if you want to dig deeper into it, so feel free to do so. And now from here to here, 1.5. From here to here, 0.1. And this radius is, diameter, sorry, is 1 millimeter. Now I'm going to surface and go to split line and choose this face. Okay, now it created a nice split here. Now I'm going to offset surface by going to surface and then offset surface. Choose these 3 faces and I'll make the distance 0. So now it's copy surface instead of offset. Just create a surface for us. Now if I hide this, you're gonna see only the surfaces there. Now let's use this face and create a second cut, and use the direction of the thickening is the right plane, so it goes perpendicular to the right plane. Now let's go to the inside with 0.5 millimeter and select this body. Again, second cut, choose this offset surface that we made and choose the direction to be the right plane and go inside like this with 0.5 millimeter. And for this body, we select the main body. Now it creates a nice cut for us. Now I need to copy this face again and use it for a thickened version this time. And for the direction, let's choose the right plane and now reverse the direction and give it maybe a 0.6 just to be slightly protruding out, and don't merge the result. Okay. But now you can see that there is no clearance between the button and the gap. So what we're going to do is go to direct editing and move face, and then select this face here, this face, and this face. It's taking a long time. Not sure why. Maybe if I make the distance 0.1, it will be faster, and flips the direction. I want it to go to the inwards. Yeah, it's faster now. Now you can see that it's creating an offset of our face and pushing it to the inside by 0.1. Okay, that's what I want. Now we have a clearance all around by 0.1. Let's make the fillet for this edge, maybe a 0.1 millimeter. For this edge too. It's not going tangent, not sure why. Here if we select this whole face, yeah. Now we have an all-around fillet. Again, let's make the same thing on this one. Yep. And let's do it on the microphone hole. Now we have our buttons there. The next thing is to have this other hole. I don't know what it is for. This one on the right side. Let's do a sketch and make a slot here, and this slot from here up to the point is 1.2, and from here to here it's a 0.8 millimeter width, and the center line is on top of the origin point, and finally from here up to the tangent point it's 6.06. And if I want to go to a dimension from a point up to a tangent and not the center line, I have to press first this point and then press shift and then press this line, so it will attach to the tangent point. Instead, if I don't press shift and I select the circle, it goes to the center and not the tangent point. Okay, that's something that I wanted you to know. So here it's 6.06. Again, I did not invent those dimensions. It's in the Apple accessory guideline book, so I'm sorry for the very small fractions. It's not really my fault. Okay, now go again to split surfaces and choose those 3 surfaces, and it will sit in the middle. I didn't have to choose the 3 surfaces. And now I'm going to offset surface and choose this one. Okay, and again, second cut, choose this face and then go for the direction to the right plane, and the distance should be a 0.5 but to the other direction, and select this body. Okay, now it creates a nice cut for us. Let's do a fillet on this edge. Okay, and let's do the one on the bottom too here for the button for the band release, I guess. Let's see, let's create a sketch on the top plane and do a center slot like this, and I wanted the center slot so I can choose those 2 points and make them vertical. And now I need to give it this dimension from here up to, no, from the center line up to the origin point, 17.72. And for the width, it's 1.8. And from tangent to tangent, so I'm pressing shift and selecting the circle. And while holding shift, I'm selecting the other circle. Now it's going tangent to tangent, and it's 8 millimeter. And now let's create a center line, horizontal one, so that we can use it to mirror this slot on the other side, like this. Okay, now we go to surface, curve, split line, choose these 6 faces, and hit OK. Now it creates a nice split for us. Now go again to offset surface, choose these 3 faces for the first one, and these 3 faces for the second one, hit OK. Now if we hide this, we have our surface over here. Now let's use it for a thickened cut again, and choose this face, and for the direction, now we go to the top plane, perpendicular to the top plane like this. I want it to go straight down and not perpendicular to the face, because if it goes perpendicular to the face, it will shift outwards, and I want it straight inside. Now, and select this body and select 0.5 millimeter cut. Okay, again, same thing. Okay, before I do that, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to create a copy of these 2 surfaces by hitting the move copy body. If you cannot find it, you can search it over here, move copy bodies, and choose those 2 faces and select copy, and do not translate anything, just hit OK, and it will warn you that there is no translation or rotation. Say OK. Now what we have is another copy for those 2 surfaces. I'm gonna hide them for now. Now let's go back, and we already made this cut, and we're gonna make another thickened cut for this one. Go perpendicular to the top plane and select this body. Okay, now we have our second cut, and I made those 2 surface copy to use them to make the buttons, the actual buttons. So I'm going to use this one and go to thicken. I have to view it first. Go to thicken and choose top plane, and give it 0.5 millimeter to the inside while unchecking the merge result. Okay, now we have our button. Again, let's show this one and use it to thicken to the inside, perpendicular to the top plane, and uncheck the merge result. Hit OK. Now let's give it some nice fillets. Let's choose those 3 faces. Okay, 0.1 is good. Okay, let's do it again on the other button. Choose this 1, 2, 3 faces. Okay, now let's do it another time on the outer of the body itself, like this. Yep. Okay, now we have our buttons in place. Let's do the place for the sensors. Okay, now I'm going to draw a horizontal line, construction line, and a vertical construction line like this. And I'm going to make a circle. This circle is 4 millimeter in diameter, and from here to here, 3.15. From here to here, also 3.15. And I'm going to mirror this circle first along the vertical plane, and use them both to mirror along the horizontal plane, and go to split line and choose this face. Okay, now we have our split line like this. Okay, now we need to make the selection. Oh, I choose this face by mistake. Why did I do that? Let's go back to split line. Yeah, I guess it had to. Let's make it in a single direction, so it will not cut the face on the top. Okay, now it did not cut the face on the front here. Now let's go to the top plane to make the display area, and the display area should go offset to this, yes, this one. Where did it go? Oh yeah, I haven't made that yet. Let's do this first. We have to create a recess for the display. So I'll go to the right plane. I'll make a rectangle like this. And I want from here to here to be 20.8. And from here to the top line, it's 1.5. Okay, that sounds good. Now I'm gonna close, and then I'm going to make a plane using this line and this point. So it will, I want it to look up, and I'm going to draw in this plane and go to intersection curve, choose this tangency, and hit OK. Now it creates the outline for the swept cut we're going to make using this profile and this boundary. Now let's go to a swept cut, use this edge for the profile and this sketch for the line. Select this body for the cut. Now it made a nice cut for us. See this edge that we made and across the whole boundary. Seems like there is something wrong with this fillet. Let's reconstruct it. Okay, delete. Yeah, should be good. Yeah, and the other one, let's go and fix that. Delete, clear all missing references and hit OK. Should be good. Now let's draw a sketch on the top plane and take an offset from this tangency. Go to offset edges and reverse and put the dimension 1.77, and as a check we want this edge to be 31.2. That's right. Again, let's go and split line and choose those surrounding faces. I made that because this area is the actual display area for the Apple Watch, and for rendering purpose I'm gonna give it a nice dark gray color like this and copy it, and then choose all those faces and then right click and paste. Now we have this is our display area. We can give everything else maybe a light gray color just for differentiating between the two. Okay, that good. At this point I think we might need to save our part. Let's call it Apple Watch Series 8. Okay, now let's also copy the appearance and give it to the crown and to this button. Oops, I think I made a mistake earlier. Copy, paste, paste, and for the buttons too, paste, paste. All right, now what we need to do next is to make the wristband, and now we need to go to the right plane, and remember that we had a sketch for this cutting. Let's go to the same sketch for reference. I think it was over here somewhere. Yep, here I'm going to show it, and I'm going to right click and select chain and then convert entities for the same thing. And now I need to use it for an extruded boss. Now go to extruded boss and mid plane, and I'm gonna just drag it past the original boundaries and don't hit merge. Okay, and now I need to make a reference plane from this line and this point. Okay, good, and I'm going to draw on it like that. And now I need to make an intersection curve for these two faces. So I captured the endpoints, and now I'm going to make an spline and choose from, choose from this point to to this point here, and I want to draw a line from the center line like this and make it construction geometry. And I need this dimension to be 22, which is the width of the bandwidth. And I'm going to make those two intersection curves also construction geometry. And I need to select these two while holding shift and make them tangent. And I'm going to rotate this handle and make it vertical. And now we need to give some dimensions. Let's see what dimensions should we give it. Let's give it 10 millimeter here, and also 10 here. And we're going to mirror this across the center line. That's good. Now, can we use it to cut this part? Let's see. I'm going to delete those two faces. Delete face and delete those two faces, so it will transform into a surface rather than a body. And then I'm going to use this edge to trim. Select it and go to surface, trim surface, and remove those two. Oh, it's not going past them. So what we need to do is to go back to that sketch. And let's draw a line like this, and a line like this, and another line like this, another line like this. Make this line and that one tangent. Make this line and that spline tangent. Just need to go to past the boundaries of the part, so in order to be able to trim it, I'll exit and go to trim surface using this one and choose to remove those two parts. Now we have a trimmed surface. Let's hide this part for now, and let's go to filled surface and right click on this boundary and choose select open loop. And I want to be able to see what's happening, so I'll go to mesh preview and increase the mesh density. As you can see, it's not looking good, but if I uncheck the optimized surface, it will become a nice flat ending. I'll hit OK, but first let's merge. On the other end, I'm going to do the same. Go to filled surface, right click on one of the edges and select open loop, and uncheck the optimized surface. And now I'm going to merge and create a solid. Now it has become a solid part again. See? Now let's bring the main body back. It's looking good. Now let's draw the rest of the wristband, but before that I need to mirror this on the other side. So I will select the front plane and go to feature mirror and select this body for mirroring. Hit OK. Now we have it mirrored. Okay, now I need to go to the right plane again. I need to convert just this line, and let's hide that sketch. We don't need it anymore. Okay, now I'm going to, from the center, I'm going to draw an SP-line like this, and I'm going to move the handle so it will be perpendicular to this line. And let's make this line a construction geometry and extend it. Now from this point to this point, let's give it a 15 millimeter vertically. And let's choose the length of this to be 140, and let's choose this one to be like maybe 80. Yeah, 80 is good. And here this one needs to be horizontal, and let's give it 200. Now we have a nice profile for the side of the armband. And now we'll close and then go to swept boss, and this will be automatically selected as an edge. And for the profile, I'm going to select that face. And I'm going to, for the feature scope, I'm going to uncheck auto select and select this part. It will be merged to only that part. Now we need to make a round face here by going to a full fillet and choosing those three faces. 1, 2, 3. Now it will create a nice round fillet for us. Okay, that's good. we have the first one. Let's now create the holes in there by going to the right plane and making a sketch and bringing back that sweep profile and converting it. Now let's hide it, we don't need it. And let's also hide the body because it's distracting. And I'm going to draw a line like this and make those two perpendicular and give it a dimension from here to here, 40 millimeters. And I'm going to make this a construction geometry. Let's also extend this one and put a point in the middle and make it coincident and just give a dimension from here to here, 40. And now let's make a nice rectangle, but this must not be vertical but parallel to this, and let's give this dimension 1.5. And now let's go to rotated cut, revolved cut, I'm sorry, and choosing this line for the axis of revolving, and for the scope I'm going to choose the body that I've hidden and hit OK. Now let's bring it back. We have a circle, that one that we wanted to cut, and I'm going to make a fillet from the sides like this. I'm going to make it like a 0.5 millimeter radius. Yeah, looks good. Now I need to repeat it on the armband, but to do that I cannot use a linear pattern because this face is not linear, and I cannot use a circular pattern because it's not circular. Instead it's just an edge. So I'm going to bring back this profile here. I'm going to use this curve for the pattern. For that I'm going to press the drop down menu here and choose a curve driven pattern, and for the direction I'm going to choose this curve. And for the features, I'm going to choose this feature, which is the cut, and also this feature, which is the fillet. I'm going to reverse the direction. And between each two, I'm going to give it 7 millimeters. And it's very important that the alignment method is tangent to curve and not aligned to seat. If you want to know why, let's see. This is tangent to curve, so each center is perpendicular to the curve as we go up. But if I go to align to seat, you see, this goes parallel to the first feature. See, this one is our seat curve, and it will go parallel to the seat curve, which is not correct as we go up. So it's important to check tangent to curve. Okay, and now we hit OK. It will create 7 cuts for us along with their fillets. It's very time saving. Now let's hide the sketch. Hide this sketch. Okay, why does not it doesn't want to hide? Okay, now let's give it a side fillet. Maybe choose this edge and give it a 0.5 millimeter. This edge too, this edge, this edge. Yeah, sounds good. Let's make it 1 millimeter. That's very good. Now for the other side, let's draw a sketch on the right plane. And now we choose this face and go to intersection curve, so it will mark the intersection for us. And let's make it construction and draw an spline from here to here, and the handle should be perpendicular to the starting point in order to go tangent to the surface. And for the dimensions, I'm going to give this one a magnitude of 50. And from this point to the center point, let's give it a 15 millimeter. And let's give it a full length of 90. And this handle should be horizontal, and let's give it a magnitude of, let's say 100. It's too short, let's make it 150. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. And while I'm at it, I'm going to draw a center line from here to here, make it perpendicular to the curve, and give it a dimension from here to here, 35, and another center line from here to here, and make it also perpendicular, and give it a dimension from here to here of 11. Okay, Now exit the sketch and I'm going to make a swept pass and choose this profile and make it merge to this face. Now let's give it a full radius fillet like we did on the other wristband. Okay, very good. Now let's bring back the sketch. And I want to make a plane using this line and this point like this. And I'm going to draw on this plane. And let's draw a center slot like this. And I want this point to be on top of that point. Okay. And this one is horizontal. And let's give it some dimensions from the let's see, from this edge to this edge. So we hold shift and press on the outer circle in order to go to the tangent point instead of the center. I'll give it 22.5, and from here to here 4 millimeters. And I'm going to make it construction and now offset all the entities. Oops, 4 millimeters. Let's make this one a construction. Okay, now we want the outer one, so let's go to extrude and go blind, reverse the direction, maybe 20 millimeters or 30, yeah, okay. And if I want it to be the same thickness as the wristband, but if I go to start from surface and up to surface, it doesn't work for some reason, so I have to go from sketch plane and go blind, and I will not merge. Uncheck the merge. Okay, I will just use the surfaces and copy surface. Where is it? Offset surface, copy surface, because I'm selecting 0 offset. I'm going to choose those two surfaces, hit OK, and now I'm going to extend them, let's say 10 millimeters. Okay, and extend the bottom one to 10 millimeters. And I'm going to use a cut with surface and choosing this top surface and choosing this body for the cutting, and make sure the arrow goes up. I want to remove the part on top, so I use this edge as a trimming tool, see? And now I'm going to repeat the same step with the face on the bottom with cut with surface, choose this face, and for the body I'll select this body. Make sure that the arrow is now pushing down. I want to trim that downwards part. Hit OK. Now it has trimmed it for me. I'm going to hide this body, I don't need it. And now let's go to combine and combine those two faces together. You'll see that it has this weird cut. So I'm going to go to the surface and delete face and delete this face while hitting the patch, delete and patch. Okay, now it will merge it with my body. Again, delete face, choose this face, delete and patch. It will merge it with my body. And let's bring back the sketch again. And I want to make a new sketch and select this one, this chain, and convert. I want to use it for a cut extrude through all and select this body. Okay. Oh, again. Through all, select this body. Okay, now it cuts the slot for me. Now let's hide this sketch and this plane, we don't need them. And now what's remaining to do is to create the pin here that clips to the hole on the other wristband. So I'm going to go to the right plane and convert this center line, extend it downwards like this. And let's hide the original sketch. Hide it. Now let's draw the profile for the cut. I need it to go perpendicular to this line, like this. Oh, not. Make sure that when you draw a line, it's perpendicular to this one. See? Perpendicular. Perpendicular, and not horizontal or vertical. Perpendicular, like this. Excellent. Now let's drag this top point over here. And the bottom point up to here. I need this to be this diameter to be 8 millimeter. So let's make this one construction geometry. So when we do this. It's for the select the diameter, and I need this one to be 1 millimeter, and this line and that line should be collinear and equal. And what else now? And we need to put this point on top of here, and this point is already on top of here. And let's give this a dimension of 1 millimeter. Okay, now we have this profile. Let's go to the top profile, make sure it's perpendicular, 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 and this last one should be a curvature like this, and a line like this. Make this one construction and this one tangent to it, and these two should not be tangent. Let's uncheck the tangency between them. Okay, now from here to here, 0.5, and this diameter 4 millimeters. This diameter is 2.8. This dimension is 3 millimeters. Let's bring this up like this, and let's give this a dimension of 0.5. All right, that looks good. I'll need to trim this part, and I'll need to make a line from here to close the boundary. And now let's go to Revolved Boss and choose this center line and uncheck the mesh result. Now we have our pin. Let's create a hole for the pin. Again, on this right plane, let's create a sketch and bring back that sketch. I'm going to convert entity, this one, and this, and this. Okay, now let's bring them up a little bit like that, and let's draw lines like this. Okay, another line like that, and trim the extra on top and below. Now let's do a revolved cut for this center line and choose this part. Okay, now we have our cut in place. Yeah, looking good. Now let's hide the sketch and give this a nice fillet of 0.5, maybe 0.1, 0.2. Yeah, 0.2 seems good. These two, and this one on bottom here. Yeah, let's give this one too. Okay. Now for the rubber, let's give it also a nice fillet. And finally, let's give some fillets on these corners, maybe 5 millimeter. And let's give an all-around fillet of 1 millimeter like we did on the other part. Yeah, looking good. And let's give another fillet here. Okay, now did we miss anything? I don't think so. So let's give some material. This one should be a soft touch. Give it like a green color and copy it and give it to the other side. This one should be a brushed metal or a rough metal. Let's do it brushed brass or something. Okay. And there you have it for today's video. If you found the content useful, show some love by hitting the like button and hitting subscribe to our channel so that you will stay in the loop for all our future uploads. Until next time, happy designing!